Well, all right, folks, I don't know if you can see me, but technically my phone tells me I'm live. We're sitting in the middle of Victoria Harbour. If you look up over my shoulder on this side, you will see the Empress Hotel come into view. And as I swing further and further around, because we are indeed in the provincial capital, the provincial legislature will pop up over my shoulder in a moment here as well. It's a pretty cool spot. Victoria Harbour is basically the perfect dream harbor. If you were to design a harbor, this is pretty much what it would be. So I thought this would be kind of fun to do a little tour around the harbor. There's lots of technical things that have made this a little bit difficult, and I'll go into them in a minute. What I'm going to do now is just check on my iPhone because iPad, because I have cleverly arranged that you should be able to send the messages you send through here so that I can read them, because my little iPhone, which is attached to my tripod with many elastic bands so it doesn't fall in the ocean, is completely obliterating any view. So, can you hear me? I see Natalie is here and says, hello, Peter. So, Natalie, I guess, are you the only person that can see me? Nope, there we go. Wilka. Scott, yes. Craig, yes. Okay, good. We're coming in. Meltwater, hey, how are you? Excellent. Well, that's very good. Fabulous. We're seeing lots of stuff come in. Victoria BC videos. Todd Dunn, how you doing, Todd? It is a beautiful day here in Victoria. It's a little whoops. It's a little windy, and I just about clobbered this trawler. Sorry. Trying to drive, which means navigating, which is a responsible thing to do with a boat, and run all this at the same time. Let me just get back over to the other side of the harbor here so we can limit the amount of that. Okay, so how's the audio? It's quite windy out here. I'm a little concerned it would be very hard to hear. I'm going to try and read through some stuff loud and clear. Hey, hello from Boston. Hey, Peter, 5 out of 5, beer. No, because I am a responsible boater, we will not be having a beer while out cruising, but there is one in the fridge at the end of the cruise if you so wish to stick around. And I see you too, Lewis. Always make me Fridays, freshly frozen. Francois, good afternoon, nice to see you. Hi from Florida, how are you? This is moving so fast. Ken, William, how you doing? Very good, very good. Okay, so it looks like this is actually working. Hi from Norway to Morton. Again, all these people on the boardwalk are wondering what the heck I'm doing, because even though we're social distancing, I think it's called now physical distancing, there are quite a few people out for a walk today because it's a gorgeous day. So what I thought I'd do, aside from answering any questions that come up on here, I can't believe this is working, is take us for a little tour through Victoria Harbour, which is, as I mentioned, one of my favorite little harbors. This is the Causeway Marina, which is where I hope to be able to live someday, but you can only stay there 8 months of the year. You have to be gone through the summer because, of course, it's a massive tourist attraction. Anyway, so let me see if there's any questions here. Audio's fine, says Todd. Good audio, good video, says Bill. Excellent, loud and windy. Yeah, it's going to be a little windy. I actually rode downtown. The marina I live at is in the outer harbor, and it's a good half-hour to 40-minute row to get here. And although I'm currently running on the, you can't really see it, maybe you can see the battery. No, you can't see that either. Electric trolling motor to zip around the harbor. I didn't want to risk draining the battery coming downtown so that we could go on a good-sized tour. But it was nice to have a little row. It was good. It was good. Okay, so what do we got? We got good sound. Bonjour from France. Hello, Geddy Lee. Geddy Lee. All right, let's hit those high notes. God, what if it really was Geddy Lee? Geddy, are you Geddy Lee? Anyway, never mind all that. Whoa. Okay, Edward, hello from Buffalo, New York. How are you? Jack, from West Bend, Michigan. Raymond, how are your daughter and pup? Well, pup is fine. My daughter is in North Carolina. I talk to her regularly and she seems to be fine. A little wind noise, but not too bad. That's good. Let's see the pretty harbor. Yes, okay, so let's go on a little bit of a tour. Sounds okay. Barnsley from the UK. Oh, Albany, Oregon. Hi from Devon, England. Oh, I love England. Okay, so we're going to go on a bit of a tour. So you've seen what I call the inner pool with the legislature and the Empress Hotel. So we're going to scoot out into the main navigable part of the inner harbor. One really neat thing about the pandemic is that this is normally a very, very busy harbor with ferries and water taxis and airplanes and stuff, and it's practically silent now. Over my shoulder you can see the V2V ferry, which was the downtown to downtown ferry to go from Victoria to Vancouver. It obviously wouldn't be doing very well today, but it actually closed up several months ago. Okay, so we're scooting along. We're gonna head along the waterfront so that you don't have to look at too much of me. I'm gonna swivel you out, which means swiveling my camera out over the ocean, my phone, which is a little bit precarious, but let's just swing that around a little bit so you can see some of downtown. So we'll have another look at the Empress here from the marina. Wouldn't this be a cool place to live? Those of you who have watched episodes for a while will know that this is where we come and keep the boat over the Christmas holidays, which is just so much fun. Okay, let's scoot along a little bit. I can't see anything because I'm wearing my reading glasses. Hang on a second here. There we go. All the whale watching boats are shut down, obviously. And we're heading over to the super yacht pier, where there's always at least one that seems to live here, but we're not having any others coming in. The construction you can see beyond the super yacht pier is a whole row of condos that were built in the 20 or 30 years ago that weren't done all that well. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a little bit because I'm not sure I should be driving backwards while trying to read comments. But I'll drift a little bit here. What do we got here? Going here. A bunch from France, hi from Norway. Nice setup from Florida. I'll have a beer for you. Well, we'll be having a beer later. I think we will. I can't tell if what you can see because I can't. Anyway. Here we go. Hi. Basically, I have lost the feed, so I'm going to have to refresh and hope it comes back. Isn't that just the way it is? I'm hotspotting the iPad off the phone, which you guys are on, and it had worked very well. Oh, here we go. We're back. Okay. A little bit noisy. Let's keep moving down. Hi from Devon. Make sure I don't run into anybody here. Looking good, Peter. Windy and buffeting. Great to catch you live, says Del. Victoria, BC videos again. We used to live on Oswego, just San Diego's. Nice. Nice. Hey, Peter says. Biker Bob, how are you, Biker? I know you're not Biker, but I know. Hi from Norway, says Tom. Francois, when do you think MV Geordie will be fit? Well, that's a good question. If you've been following along, you know that the engine in MV Geordie is not fit, but I have arranged another used replacement engine, a very, very promising one. However, with the onset of the pandemic, that all got put on hold. But it looks very promising, and well, let's give end of lockdown plus a month or so, and we'll be putting another engine in. Very, very promising. And after that, it's basically functional. On the whole, lots of little things. What else we have going on here? Social distancing. I did my SOP. Social distancing is my SOP. SOP. You know, I'm not sure I know what that means. Anyway, Getty, I just blushed. Oh, okay, so. That doesn't answer my question, Getty. Oop, let's not hit some kayaks here. But the only traffic left in Victoria Harbour is kayaks. How you doing? This extraordinary looking building, I don't know if you can see it, is the seaplane terminal. Happily, there are no seaplanes running anymore. Well, for a while anyway. It's a cool building. Okay, let's scoot along a little further. I don't know where all the planes are. They must be in a hangar somewhere. Normally this is all seaplanes here. Okay, what do we got? Hank, hi from Barcelona to Hank. Looks like a great area, says Al. Trying not to run into anybody here. Tim Ford. Peter, I'm off to work my 1931 40-foot Osborne tomorrow. Very similar to your craft. Keep me going. Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, someday you'll be up in this neck of the water. I hope so. Wish I could visit my marina close to the I've heard that some people can't get to their boats because and I suppose I can understand that. It's recreational boating. It's not essential. I guess I'm very, very grateful that I'm not in a situation where I couldn't get to the boat. That would be quite devastating. Okay, so we're just scooting along towards what's called the Wharf Street Marina, which is the next marina run by the city. This is an interesting marina because you can stay here year-round. The waiting list is very, very long, though, like decades. But it is at the foot of basically all the drinking establishments in town, so it's kind of fun that way. So if we scoot around here, you'll get a bit of a view of it, and you can start to see part of the old town of downtown Victoria. You may not be able to hear me at all now because of the wind. Let's scoot up in here. Trying to answer some more questions here. Hi Peter from England, says Paul. Tony, are you installing solar, says Tony. Well, how about, that's funny you mentioned that. Solar panels arrived yesterday, and it is next week's project. Yes, so we're putting 400 watts of solar on the roof of MV Zephyrus. I will be putting probably 600 or 800 watts on MV Geordie when the time comes, but you'll see at least a 400 watt installation very shortly. Hi Peter from England, says, I did Paul. Geddy Lee. Geddy Lee asks, is that the hotel where they filmed The Shining? You know, I haven't the foggiest idea. Did they film The Shining in Victoria in an old hotel? I know that beautiful red building there is a lawyer's office. Really, really nice spot. Okay, gonna do a little driving here. This is a dead end, so I got to pull back out of here. Okay, what else we got going here? Meltwater Media says, hey. Charlie Carson, cheers from Texas. How are you, Charlie? The most beautiful workshop on YouTube. I think so. I think they've all been beautiful. Oh, look at this pretty dog over here. There you go. Very good. Beautiful dog. The boat's called the Martin Sheen. That's interesting. Oh, it's a Sea Shepherd. That's a Sea Shepherd conservation boat. I didn't even know it was here. Cool. I don't know these things. Anyway, I should probably give you a look at it. That is the Martin Sheen, which is a Sea Shepherd Conservation Society boat. And I'll try not to ram it. Okay, what do we got going on here? I think what we have going on here is I need a reboot. Unless, oh, here we go. Yeah, not a reboot, but a refresh. It'll take me a minute to do this. Excuse me, folks. This is not very happy. I should have one of those pedal steering things that the trolling motors have. Refresh. Sorry about this. Okay, so we'll carry on with the tour while this refreshes. Again, this is the Wharf Street Marina. Lovely place to stay if you can get a slip here. And we're heading down towards what is the old town of Victoria. It's really quite an old city, actually, the actual small inner area. It reminds me a lot of Montreal, where I grew up. It actually has the oldest Chinatown in North America. I read that somewhere. I'm not going to attest that that is a fact. Okay, we seem to be getting content flying back here, so let's have a look here. SOP is standard operating procedure. Yes, perfect. Jeffrey, hello from Port Townsend. I have a 1940 mug bridge deck. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Can't visit marinas in the UK. That would suck. MV Geordie will never be finished because you always find something to repair or improve. That is so true, and you know, that doesn't bother me at all. I love wooden boats or old houses or things like that, in that it's sort of an evolution thing, and you take your time. Everything that you do, if you did everything at once at the beginning, you would spend the rest of your life regretting how you did everything. So it's sort of an opportunity to do, you know, a lot very, very slowly. Like you've heard of slow cooking, slow travel. Well, this is slow restoration. Absolutely. Okay, so what do we got? When will the next haul up for MV Geordie be? Cheers from Sweden, says Felix. MV Geordie will haul out next spring, assuming everything in the world still works properly. And at that time, whatever engine is in it will come back out. Not out of the boat, but just up and out, so I can do a fair amount of structural repairs for engine beds and such underneath the engine, as well as the same work we're going to do to MV Zephyrus this spring, which is replacing as many of the butt blocks with Dutchman scarfed in. But we'll see how that project goes. We're doing that this June, it looks like. Anyway, so here's the tugboat fleet. There's not much of it here today. I don't know where the rest of them are. They're probably in the upper harbor, which we'll head up to shortly. Let me just make sure I don't run into anyone, and I'll have another look.
Inventory will never be friend. Yes, you can't. Yes, hello from Torrance Townsend. Jim says waiting for the matinee lady, Peter. Yes, well, that would be fun, wouldn't it? But I don't know if the gnarly old shaggy-haired fellow working on the wooden boat thing. Yeah, I don't think that. No, I think I'm actually have a very, very, very good relationship with my very good friend in the marina that it works out very well for me. Joe, did you work out something to get your screws? It looks like I did, and I don't know if you're on. I don't know what name you go by. It's Renegade Show on here. I don't know if you use your actual name. I don't know if you're on here. He lives in Port Townsend, and he's proposed to pick me up some screws, so I'm quite excited about that. Okay, so this is one of my favorite parts of the whole harbor. See these ancient old buildings here? I'm going to scoot in here and try not to run aground because there's some not deadheads, but old pilings. Anyway, these old buildings are called the Northern Junk Buildings. They're ancient old brick and stone buildings right in the heart of the old town. And right next to the bridge, etc. Hello there, how are you?
Are you filming?
I am filming, yes. Live streaming across the internet to the world.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Have a great day.
Are you having a fantastic sunshine day? It's one of those days. Okay, so it's also that kind of neighborhood. Okay, so wouldn't these make a fantastic little pub? Again, I don't know if I can get you in the right place here to have a look at these things. They're just ancient old buildings. And when I first came to Victoria, I always had fantasies about fixing them up into a little pub, a little inn, I don't know. Anyway, it has an unbelievable view straight out the harbor. Sunsets here are fantastic, just great. Okay, so we're gonna scoot around and under the new bridge into the inner harbor, which is the commercial harbor, the fishing and industrial harbor. And as soon as we get around this piling, I'll have a look at the comments. Okay, what do we got here? Looks like a nice day. Yes, it's a lovely day. It's a little bit windy. Great fish and chips by the seaplanes, says Jeffrey. Yes, they're relatively great. I spent a long time in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, where the fish and chips there that cost $27 would cost $6. So I find it hard to imagine waiting in line the way they do there for 40 minutes to get overpriced fish and chips. But they're good, and I mean, it's definitely a mainstay to this harbor. Pretty cool. Okay, this is the new Johnson Street Bridge. There used to be an old lift bridge here, a bascule bridge. In fact, it was it the biggest? Anyway, it was a lovely bascule bridge. This is now the biggest bascule bridge in the world. They, at great expense, replaced the old ones. You can see the pilings, not the pilings, but the supports for the old bridge are still here. I guess it's kind of neat. I really hated that they took out the old bridge, but in retrospect, it's pretty cool. They light it up at night, looks pretty sharp. Okay, I'm just gonna go through here because technically I'm in a ship channel, and the prospect of looking at my iPad with my hand off the tiller while scooting through here is not really responsible. So no one waving. Normally there's tons of people up there waving, but you know, we're in social isolation. Physical isolation. Okay. Being a responsible mariner here. By the way, I do have a life jacket and all the safety equipment aboard. This is a fully safe operation. Okay, I'm going to scoot around the corner here into the shelter, be able to answer some questions here. Standard waterfront condo development thing. Actually, it didn't do too bad a job. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Looking forward to the solar install. Yes, so am I, says Praise Be Wibble. Uncle Donnie, looks so nice. Raining here in Tennessee. Good fortunes and God bless Peter. I love your content. Thanks so much, Uncle Donnie. Web Tracker, good afternoon. I see that you have the same day as we have just north of Seattle. Yes, well, we would. Over my shoulder here, you can see the water taxis that ply the harbor in non-pandemic times. Okay, what else we got going here? John Barrett, just found your channel. Love, lots of catch up to do, says John Barrett. Tom, love the dinghy. Should be an episode with working on it. Well, actually, this dinghy's in awesome shape, but mine, which needs a little bit of work, will definitely be the subject of probably many episodes. But anyway, that's yet to come. What do we got here? Tony, I'm an old fart, but just so stoked to get a live answer from across the pond. Well, absolutely, Tony. I'm very happy to give you a live answer from across the pond. Aren't these things awesome? I mean, for those of you who are familiar with these cute little taxis, they're in Vancouver and Victoria and probably in all kinds of harbors around the world, but they just scoot around and it's kind of fun. It'd be great if they ran late in the day because they'd be a way to come home from the pub. Okay, here's some fun boats for those of you interested in wooden boats. These are SALTs, S-A-L-T-S, and I apologize, I'm not sure I know what the acronym is. Sailing Association, I don't know what it is, you'll have to look it up. SALTs. Basically, it's a released Vancouver Island wooden boat training school, like a outward bound type of thing. I'm going to have to swing around because I can't get you a good view without ramming them. There's two of them. One of them is a Grand Bank schooner, very, very similar to the Blue Nose, which of course is Canada's most famous sailboat. And that's that one right there. And because I can't see what you're seeing, I'm assuming that you're all going there. Okay, here comes the harbor patrol to wonder what I'm up to here. Let's see if they have any interest in talking to me. The other one, I forget, it's like Sea Swift or something like that. I forget the actual names of them. So we'll give a little wave to the harbor patrol. And they don't seem too concerned with what I'm up to. Okay. They didn't see me watching my iPad while I was trying to drive properly. So I'll just keep my eye on where I'm going for a little bit here. Pacific Grace. The name of the Grand Bank schooner is Pacific Grace. They've just done an awful lot of work to both of these, which is wonderful. Reminds me of being home in Lunenburg. Wait, well, Lunenburg isn't home anymore, but back when I was there. Okay, so we'll scoot through the big Zodiac lake here and scoot around up into the working part of the harbor. I'm going to shoot a view over to the shipyard in a second. Actually, I'm going to give you a quick view of this way. That brick building, which is just going to come into view over the Harbor Authority Zodiac, is the old powerhouse. Steam engines were in there that would generate electricity when electricity was first brought to Victoria. Now it's a lovely pub. It's an okay. Okay, I'm just going to try and get to somewhere where I can answer some questions and not run into anyone. We're definitely getting into the heavily kayaked part of the harbor. Kayaks and what are those war canoes? Not war canoes. You know, like 50 people, executives, all rowing like crazy and yelling. Okay, so I'm going to duck in around here and have a quick look at some of the comments. If you have any particular questions about the harbor or anything in here, let me know and we can go have a look at it. I'm going to talk about this area over my shoulder in a minute. Okay, what do we got going here? We're going that I have to refresh again. Unless you've all left. Am I still streaming? It says live. I've lost the connection on my iPad. Hang on just a second, which means I can't read any of your comments and even confirm that I'm live. Let's just have a look here. I've lost my connection to the Wi-Fi hotspot. The risk would be in that it is decided to connect to a pub's hotspot, which it might have done because of course all these pubs have hotspots, and as I came in and out of range, I lost access to it. Okay, so what do we got here? Says it's unable to connect to my Wi-Fi hotspot, which is on the phone. So I have to tinker with this a little bit, and I don't know if closing you... Hang on a second, I gotta close the app. That is you guys. Hopefully you'll still be there when I get back. Okay, I'm back. I wonder if you're back. Let's have a look here. Let's see if I can connect to my iPhone. And we seem to be live again. Technology, isn't it fantastic? Well, I apologize for the sort of disjointed nature of this particular live stream. it is the nature of trying to do something a little bit technically awkward. Okay. Okay, I'm live. And I got a text from someone saying that we're still connected, which is great, which means at least I haven't been staring at a blank screen. Okay, I have a whack more questions. I'm in a little shelter here, and I'll avoid going ashore by tucking in here and answer a few of your questions. Let's see the topsail schooner on the right up there. Well, yes, we had a quick look at it, and we'll see it again on the way out. I'm getting a text that says, "Clean the lens if you can. It's a bit blurry." Well, let me see if I can give the lens a bit of a clean and not run into this piling at the same time and not knock my phone off. Now, I don't know. Is that any better? I can't see anything because I got my reading glasses on. This really is a bit. Okay, here we go. We're back. Yes. How's Geordie? Geordie is asleep in the cockpit back at home. I considered bringing him on this. He loves dinghy rides, but I knew that this was going to be an awkward enough little project without adding the risk of taking a dog who is old, deaf, and I don't know how well he swims anymore. So his dinghy ride days are. I have to be a little bit more careful. Whoa, huge deadhead under there. Okay, there we go. We're back. How's it? Excellent. Okay, Craig. Hi from Maine. Craig, how are you? Richard, we're back again. Hi, Peter. Charlie, yes, you're back. Excellent. Clean the lens. Caitlin. Hey, Caitlin. Hi, Kate. My daughter Caitlin has just joined in, and so I gotta straighten this out. So I'm really glad to see her. Boat and dive. Lens is blurry on right side. Have I fixed it? William, we have seen and heard you were going cruising. I've heard that I've been texting the lens is a little better. I'll tell you what the problem is actually, and I apologize for this. My lens protector is starting to peel off my phone, and as a result, anyway, it's a bit of a mess. I have a booger in my mustache. Well, thank you. Tangusta Bear, wah. Is that because was I complaining about something? All right, not enough limbs. Is the connection causing fuzzy image? Hi from Southern California, says boat and dive. Port side nostril. Hopefully I've got it. Holy mackerel. This is a risky business. You're only 144 pixels. I often thought I would trade a tiny bit of intelligence for an extra limb. Okay, well, maybe this is not turning out to be a very good idea. I was going to take you around the working harbor, but if we're winding down bandwidth, I may have to run back to town. Well, over my shoulder, if you can still hear me, is the beginning of what they call Rock Bay, which is the beginning of the working part of the harbor. It starts off with a huge aggregate plant and concrete plant, which is right downtown Victoria. And just underneath the next bridge is actually a scrap car yard. So the kind of stuff that we'll be probably leaving in the next decade or two. Across the harbor, if you have a look, it starts with some condos, but directly opposite, and I'm going to take you over there, is Port Hope Shipyard. It's the last major shipyard in Victoria, well, other than the Navy shipyard, of course. And it's such a cool shipyard because it has a turntable. It has a marine railway to bring ships up out of the water. And then that railway car in the middle of the inner harbor zone. I gotta make sure I was traffic. Anyway, and then that rail car goes on a huge turntable like in a old railway. And you can turn around and stick the various ships in different bays. Anyway, it's the coolest thing. I'm gonna scoot over here. You know, I'm not actually. I'll tell you why, because it's getting really windy and I doubt you can hear me. And there's no shelter on that side. So I'm going to work my way back in through the harbor, answer a few more questions, and then I imagine this is going to pretty much run the course. Let me just get into some shelter and I'll look at a few more questions. The waterway, this harbor continues up behind you for a long, long way, miles and miles and miles, and it's called the Gorge Waterway, and it becomes more and more residential. In fact, at some point it's quite narrow, windy, and very much like an inland river. It's really gorgeous, and there's houses along the water there with docks, and once you get past a certain point underneath what's called the trestle bridge, you're actually allowed to stay in your boat overnight. It's a bit debatable how long, because there have been some people that have taken advantage of that. I suspect you can't hear me very well at all now because I'm back into the wind. I'm going to try and find some shelter and see if we can answer a few more questions and wrap this up. Tucking behind this area right here would be a lovely place for a marina. Really would be a fantastic spot. I've often wanted to start a little co-op marina here. There's projects I'm not going to get to. Okay, let's scoot in here. Run right up on the shore. Put in reverse here. Okay. And get out of the wind. Okay, so we got a ton of questions here. Tom Grund, best show on YouTube. Thank you very much. Partial to pizza and beer. Well, aren't we all? We're with you all the way, no matter the connection. Okay, well, that's great, William. Thanks so much. Hi, Peter. Can you swim well? Yes, I'm an absolute fish. No problem with swimming. The water is cold, though. And I'm not an expert, or I'm not very respectful of the process of hypothermia. I tend to think I'm invincible and could jump in this water right now and swim across. But there's people in my life that would contest that. Michael says, this is great fun. Well, hopefully it's going. Edward, it's gone Pete Tong. I don't know what that means. Okay, we're back to the booger. Hopefully you're done with that. Kaylin, what's your favorite quarantine meal? Caitlin, I have to tell you, my favorite quarantine meal is steak frit, because we have that wonderful butcher that you know very well, and a really, really fine piece of meat and potatoes. It is my favorite quarantine meal. One thing about not eating out, I'm sure everyone in the world is experiencing this, is that you save a tremendous amount of money. Well, I shouldn't say that because lots of people in the world don't have the privilege of eating out, but I tend to eat out too much. As a result, in Victoria anyway, almost all the boutique food is still available. You have to wait in line, but eating really well. Really, really well. So that's good. How far down we go? Hi from Boston, loving the live stream. Well, thank you so much, Bill. Where are we? This is a real true to Geordie live stream. Don't change it. Okay, well, excellent. I mean, I thought it'd be fun. Glasgow, hey, Scott, how are you? Hi, Peter. I was thinking as I rode downtown, we came by where you and I did the Beer of the Week out on the street. And I thought if you were here, you might remember where we were. Adam says, I hope to find a monk cruiser in the future. Well, get on it. If you're looking for a monk cruiser, get on it, because unfortunately they are still poorly appreciated and being scrapped regularly. Now, of course, some of them are in really, really bad shape, but there are boats that are savable that are being lost, and they're not making any more. So if you're interested in a monk, find one and get on with it. Thomas Major, Southport, UK, just fab. Awesome thumb. Getty Lee. I'm a restaurant owner here in Normandy, but I'm losing money hand over fist. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Getty, and as so many restaurateurs are. I hope there's some way that when this is all over, there are ways to well, every country's going to have a different program, you know, and it's easy to criticize, and I don't want to get political, but I'm hoping France has a way to protect the legacy. Well, every country should be able to protect all the fantastic cultural things that are really going to be threatened over this. Terrible. Where are we? Eric, I enjoyed your French onion soup episode. Well, that's good. I eat that a lot. It's excellent. Craig, who owns the other boat you work on, Peter? Is it a lady friend? Wink, wink. Well, it's a friend and it's a lady. Yes. Very, very good friend of mine, my best friend in the world, and she owns the other boat. And we are quite a good team, I would say. And we're going to take her boat out cruising, because people have asked earlier. Very shortly, not very shortly, a couple of weeks. And the reason we're waiting a little bit is because the whole issue about non-essential travel, when you're cruising, theoretically, you would normally be going into little harbors and ports and marines and stuff like that, which is a little out of vogue right now. But that's not what we're going to do at all. We're just going to go out into the southern Gulf Islands and stay on the hook and be completely isolated for weeks at a time. So, but just to get our heads around Whether that is going to be disagreeable to the Coast Guard and such, we're researching that a bit right now. Plus, we have a bit of more work to do to the boat to get out there, including solar. What do we got here? Did you get the boats at the same time? Very, very close. Actually, MV Zephyrus was the very first monk I ever looked at to consider buying, and for various reasons at the time didn't buy it. And when the current owner of it suggested that she'd like to have one, I thought, well, that would be a great boat if it ever came up, and it popped up on Craigslist, and there it was. So about a year apart. Stupid COVID, yes, back down the boat. Stupid COVID, no doubt about it. I mean, there are some sort of silver linings, but that's a dangerous thing to say. Wedding cake business is going under. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Back down on the boat. We do a little navigation here. Peter, great to see you without sawdust in your hair. Keep up the good work, says Greg Esther. Yeah, I often don't have sawdust in my hair, but I guess I often do too. So we'll run around the corner here. Mike Skelly, Getty Lee, we have the same problem here. Folks desperately to enjoy a catered meal. That's Mike, yes. Terrible, terrible stories about restaurants going under. Sitka Sailing. Hold on, neighbor, taking a break from sanding my mask. Going back to it in a bit. I enjoy watching your boat projects, and the beer of, let me draw here a bit, of the week always makes me want to try some new brews. Sitka Sailing. Sitka Sailing, do I know you? Sound familiar. I apologize, I'm not paying much attention to, but I'm wondering if you're actually a neighbor. Which means we should get together sometime and have a beer of the week. Craig goes, do you have any regrets for moving onto your liveaboard? Absolutely not. The smartest thing I ever did. Second smartest. The first in the family. It was absolutely life changer. I really wanted to do it all my life, and to have the opportunity, especially here in Victoria, where living is very, very easy, and the boat is very, very easy to live on. I bought it very, very cheap, not knowing what kind of shape it was in, and it turned out to be much better shape than I thought. It's been an absolute fantasy. Everything about it is perfect. I couldn't say more about it. Now, I'm not saying it suits everyone, but it certainly suits me. Let's have another look at these boats here. This is the Grand Bank schooner. I'll get a little further away so you can have a proper look at it. What do we got here? G'day from Tasmania, where it is just after. Whoa, you don't want to let go of the tiller when the motor's underway. Let's go. Nice work on flipping the Chris Craft, Scott. Yes, that was pretty cool. Agreed. I find the beer of the week a unique and original feature. Well, that's good. So you're one of the third of the people that actually watch it. Statistically, it is not good for my channel, but I don't mind. Whatever. Okay, so from out here, you're going to be able to get a reasonable view of these two boats. Beautiful. I just love the Grand Bank schooners. I just love them. I've seen photos of Lunenburg, and in fact, even my hometown of Riverport, my old hometown, where there were dozens of these in the harbor at once. Dozens. All the same sort of boat. Going out to fish for cod. Long line. Basically, they go out aboard the schooner, but the schooner's decks would be loaded up with dories stacked inside each other. And early in the day, they'd drop fishermen off, 2 at a time in each dory, out in the middle of the sea in the fog. Remember where they are, take a big loop, and then come back to them after they've long lined a ton of fish. And talk about being left in a dory in the middle of the Grand Banks. Anyway, it's a fantastic story of Canadian and North American fishing here. And I'm sure all over the world there's similar sorts of fishing. But anyway, I just love it. Okay, let's see what we got here. Life after work. Hey Peter, just checking behind you, good-looking sailboats. I imagine you're talking about these two tall ships. Must be decent battery in the dinghy. It's awesome. It's a little AGM consumer from Canadian Tire, which is, you know, our local hardware store type place. It's been fantastic. Boat dude, how about a look at the trimaran on the way back? Yeah, there's a little trimaran. That's true. We can have a peek at that. That's good. Chris has deleted a message. Lance Davis, I love the beer of the week too. Excellent. Dell, I love the beer of the week. At some point, I will ship you a couple. That would be awesome. Stephanie Bouchard, hello from Montreal. Well, hello to Montreal. I grew up in Montreal. And I think I've lost the feed, so I'm going to do a refresh and we'll scoot along under the bridge while we're waiting for that. Windy. I suppose I could just scooting in on the inside here. No, you know, I don't want to take the blade off the propeller or shear the pin. Waiting for a refresh. Oh, it's come back. What do we got? What do we got? I'm not driving very well here. Okay. Dad Alexis didn't lose us. The end of the feed. Ah! That's the end of the feed. Well, it could be the end of the feed. Are you still there? That's telling me you're still there. Okay, I'm just gonna run through here. Be reasonably responsible again. I love this harbor. I just love it. Pretty windy now, sorry. Someone had asked if we could look at this trimaran, so I'll scoot over there. Here we go. A. Hendricks asked if I found a supplier for the galvanized screws, and I have. Looks like that's all looked after, but I'll know Monday afternoon. But I'm very grateful for everyone's support on that. There's a fellow that actually lives in Port Townsend that's going to try and help me out with that. This trimaran has been here since I moved to Victoria and never goes anywhere. I know. Tweak you around a little bit. Ooh. Lots of solar, wind vanes, etc. Hang on, I'm just going to swing around in this. I'll try and turn you a bit. Pretty performance-oriented looking thing. It's got that kind of script on the end that I can't read. Ah, yes, beautiful northern junk building. Okay, so I'm going to just stop here for a sec in the lee and see if I can't read a few comments. Thomas Major, high grade show, thank you. Santa Richard, we're here, great. Here. But then I've lost the feed again. Are you guys still there? Yeah, you're apparently there. So I'm going to refresh again. I can see that this is only limitedly, moderately entertaining. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so while we're waiting for another refresh, we'll scoot around and head back into the inner harbor. At some point, I'll just say that we've had enough of this. Ask if everyone would like to ride back to the outer harbor, back to the marina, but it may be more of just a tour because it's going to be windy and it may be difficult for you to hear. But I'm perfectly happy to speak the whole trip. I don't know about that actually. I just added a massive data plan to my phone, which in Canada is ridiculously expensive because I wouldn't be able to do these sorts of things. Imagine how many gigs this is using. to jump in their wake here. Okay, I'm just going to hop into the lee of the Street Marina here for a second, read a few more comments if they've come back up. Harbor Patrol won't mind if I sit up against their boats. Okay, so what do we get here? I'm just gonna rest up against this big Zodiac, which is nice because it's nice and sunny. Okay, sorry, I'm wild back a bit here. No worries, the wind adds to the effect of the vicarious being there. Yes, I suppose it does. Do you cut your own hair? Oh, come on now. It's very stylish, isn't it? Yes, mostly. Sometimes I get other people to, you know, just hack away at it if possible. Thanks for showing me the Tri-Man. You're very welcome. Are you aware of the Western Fly restoration? Yes, I am. Unbelievable. They use a lot of white oak, yeah, African mahogany, Douglas fir, red cedar. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic project. I love watching it. Dadalek, how are you again? If you choose a favorite beer you've tasted on Beer of the Week, what would it be? Wow, favorite Beer of the Week, Beer of the Week. That's a tough one because I have a favorite, excuse me, regional beer, and I did it on Beer of the Week. But it's a long-standing favorite. I didn't like taste it on Beer of the Week and say, whoa, that's now my favorite. And that would be Fat Tug. It's a very, very bold IPA from Driftwood Brewery, which when we were up the gorge there, we were, 100 yards from them. So Fat Tug IPA Driftwood Brewery is my favorite regional craft beer from British Columbia. Anywhere. Greg Esser. Do you have an end date, ballpark in mind for your completion? No, I'm 57 years old, so I would say the end date is a few days before my demise. Leg 666, they were looking for partners to share wood with. Cheers. Oh, yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's a good point. Wood. Well, fortunately, we have a pretty good supply of wood here in Vancouver Island. Most of the wood we need we get through a single supplier, West Wind Hardwood, here in Victoria. Fantastic. All the mahogany comes from there, for instance, the white oak, etc., as well as the yellow cedar, which we've just bought to do the planking repairs, the Dutchman's, for MV Zephyrus's haul out. So yes, if I was looking for a lot of wood, yes, it would be probably great to join in on some kind of wood collaboration. I just don't have those means or storage options. What does it say here? Sienna Richmond, we're here missing time on the water. I'm sorry about that. Big jump ahead here, Lewis, Peter. Okay, Goofy Gentle, love the account. Stuff is just pouring in here. I can't slow it down. Doing great. Change from land live streams. Yes, it is. Boat Dude, thanks for the ride along. Enjoying it. Great. Glad you are. Lewis again, thanks for the one little distraction from the lockdown. Well, that's what I was hoping this would be. Robert Flynn, with you in the foreground, everything in distance is out of focus. Oh, well, you don't need to see me, for crying out loud. Let's just do it. Let's just do that. There we go. You're looking across at the Wharf Street Marina now. American, we are here the whole ride home. If you choose to keep us, since here in Southern California we're locked down at home. Well, there we go. We'll take you for the ride. Todd, I have to leave for dinner. Back now from where the team. Oh, you had to leave. Well, Todd, excellent. Good to see you again. Peter Small, come visit Salt Spring for the Beer of the Week. Wow, Peter, I didn't know. We were just there. My daughter and I were just there. Western Flyer, very, very cool. Caitlin again, come on. It's got to be the haze you had in San Francisco. Oh, yes, I take it back. Caitlin, my daughter, I'm about to run into an outboard motor here. Hang on a second. Yeah. Okay, a very, very big outboard motor. Very, very, very big outboard motor. My daughter, Caitlin, has just... that's a big motor. And there's 2 of them, or 3 of them, or 5 of them, or something. Anyway, yes! Caitlin reminded me, on my road trip, I'm just going to bring you back in because it's so weird to be talking to empty space. Oh, hang on a second. There we go. On the road trip we took last spring, my daughter Caitlin and I, we did go to a craft brewery in San Francisco, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, but Caitlin will probably put it down here. Anyway, I forget the name of it. The best hazy IPA I've ever had. So yes, I take it back about Fat Tug, San Francisco, Standard Deviant Brewery. Standard Deviant Brewery in San Francisco, California. Best hazy IPA in the world. That's what I'm just saying. Okay, we're gonna boot out of here for a second and head back across, trying to get into the shelter of that side of the harbor. Again, you've been very kind. I'll see if I can read a few. Wipe the camera, it's foggy. Okay, I will as soon as I can take my hand off the tiller. Lovely surrounding, small boat. Where's your life jacket? It's right down here. Throw a line out. To who? Tow someone? You're a young buck. I'm not all that young. Who needs a life jacket? No, I actually really believe in life jackets. I'm old enough, I've been boating long enough that I acknowledge I don't wear a life jacket. I'm not going to get into this, really. That's a massive debate. Yep, he did. Okay, Caitlin. Someone's talking to Caitlin. Back your Bob. Exactly. Still out of focus. Go figure. Out of focus. Okay, hang on a second. Let me see if I can get something on that lens. Purple haze. I don't remember it. What have you? Just a bit hazy. Sorry about that. Mitchell Guns. Think about buying a 73. What are your thoughts? I couldn't possibly answer with that much information. 73 is quite neutral boat, therefore I suspect it's not carbon. Probably a plywood boat. My gut feeling is, I can't say. It's not what I would be looking for. BC looks amazing, but expensive. It's incredibly expensive, but living in a boat in the harbor is the hack. Doesn't make eating out or anything else any cheaper, but it certainly is the cheapest accommodations. Greetings from North Norway, Norwegian Patriot, just south of North Cape. How are you? I meant Western Flyer was giving away offcuts. Ooh, that's interesting. Actually, ironically, to do the Dutchman's for the butt joint planking scarfing repairs. There's a ton of treasure. I only need pieces of cedar, vertical grain, mind you, about 2.5 feet long. That sounds like offcuts to me, doesn't it? Mind you, the planking for the Western Flyer must have been 2.5 inches, whereas our boats are 1-ish. Okay, I'm gonna look for a little more shelter, answer a few more questions. I have no way of knowing how many people are here anymore. It says in the top left corner of my phone, but I'm assuming there's a couple because I'm still getting questions. Thanks so much for your patience. I hope you're enjoying it. I actually didn't know it was here. I've seen this boat around, but I haven't seen it in town. I mean, heck, maybe it lives here. Oh my gosh, that's I'll swing around and get a proper view of it. What a beauty. Okay, let's do some questions. Hello from Finland. I'm a windsock invest. Well, tough on a phone. I'm doing this off my phone. And the reason I'm doing it off my phone is because I need well, it's actually a 2-device solution, because I need to be able to do this live through a cellular connection. Perhaps I could invest in a whole bunch of toys, but a windsock alone isn't going to do it. Unless you can get them for phone. I don't know, maybe you can. Windsock, man, that electric really clips along. Yeah, it's awesome. And it's not even a fancy thing. It's just a cheap, I don't know, whatever they are, Minn Kota. It's nice. Jerry, hello from Finland. How are you? 216 watching from Joan. Did you sort the screws out? It looks like I have. A fella in Port Townsend has contacted me and is willing to run over there. In fact, he lives nearby, and see if he can sort that out for me tomorrow or soon. A little less wind noise amongst the giant engines. Yes, yeah. Well, we're in a little shelter here. Natalie Smith, 212 watching. If you're complaining about this live, you're in the wrong place. Personally, I think live bit a breath of fresh air. Well, I guess so. I hope no one's complaining, but if they are, I apologize. Troll a hoochie around in the harbor. Troll a hoochie around in the harbor. I guess that's what we're doing. Scott, love the idea, Peter. May steal it this summer to do some live feed tours in the St. Lawrence River. Please do, Scott. That would be fantastic. I just thought it was fun. This was really a test run for when we go cruising. We'll be able to do live streams while we're actually cruising from MV Zephyrus. I'll just sit out in the cockpit or maybe just, the process of departure, pulling the anchor, starting the engine, getting geared up to go. I thought that might be kind of fun. Edward, looking forward to that, Scott. Excellent. Hey, have you seen anything in the sky? Well, there's not many planes, if that's what you mean, which is great. I love that. I hate planes. Okay, I'm refreshing because I need to there again. So we're going to scoot out around the corner while the refresh happens. Okay, we'll be exposed here for a little bit until we get to shelter on the other side. You're seeing a few buildings. The legislature has the dome. To the right of the dome, you see a building with, it appears to be a lot of tall pillars. That used to be the old customs house, or the steamship building. It's now the Robert Bateman Museum, a significant Canadian naturalist painter. He also did a pretty major overlanding trip in a Land Rover at one point, and they just restored the Land Rover. Pretty cool. So we're going to swing around to stay in the shelter of the south side of the harbor here. And the terminal you can see right behind me is the sea terminal for the ferry Coho, which was built in 1959 and makes several crossings a day across the strait to Washington State, to Port Angeles and Washington State. And I absolutely love the boat. It's been running straight time since 1959. You can have a beer on board. It's a great service. It's a car ferry. And it's so neat because it looks like a little liner when it comes in here. I mean, it's a big boat. It's quite neat. And then we'll scoot up along here once we're in the lee of this big concrete pier and listen to the carillon, which I don't know if they use that word here. I'm from Montreal. The bells that play music, which is over near the legislature at the BC Museum. Okay, I'm going to tuck right in here and see what we got for questions. Okay, we've got anything in. Okay. Sienna Richmond, glassboat, maybe. Wow, it's just jumping around like crazy. First goes in, Peter just wants to live stream prop wash. Yeah, he knows I love prop wash. You don't get much off this little thing, but a little. Robert, I'm enjoying the quasi-random tour guide through the harbor. Well, I thought it might be fun. Smitty, well, cool. Dana Coyle. Hey, how are you, Dana? Is Victoria Harbour, is it all salt or is it brackish? It's pure salt. It's pure tile. I'm going to be underneath these pilings in a second if I'm not careful. as you go further up what's called the Gorge Waterway, you get to a big lagoon, which although is still tidal, it is river fed, so there would be brackish, but right here is full tidal. Mr. Flocco, people, where is affordable rent in BC? Not on Vancouver Island or the Sunshine Coast, or you know, you'd have to be way inland somewhere. People are looking down at me wondering what I'm doing here. Okay, is the sky noticeably clearer during the shutdown? I believe so, and the air smells nicer too. It's a big thing. But you just reminded me that people are complaining about the lens, so not complaining, suggesting that I tidy up the lens. So I'm going to try and clean this lens up a little bit. There you go. How's that? Maybe that's a little better. I don't know. I can't even see what you guys are looking at. Back to this. Oh, the sun is right there. Oh, the sun is right there. Okay, sorry. Andrew goes, hello from Australia. Love your channel. Thank you much, Andrew. Peter Small, can you go past Fisherman's Wharf? We're going to go past Fisherman's Wharf in just a few minutes if you stick around. No sky is the same as usual. No. Glasgow, Sienna, hopefully we'll be able to be around other people by summer. Yes. Yes, so true, Scott, so true. So this has locked up again, so I'm going to refresh and we're going to head along. Now we're now scooting along what would have been the old, these are all the docks for the ships. Liners used to come in here actually. So as I mentioned, we're just leaving the terminal for the ferry Coho. We're just arriving at the terminal for the ferries, the various ferries that go to Seattle. They call them the Clipper. They're high-speed cats, not car ferry, but downtown Victoria to downtown Seattle. All you Seattleites know that that's a great ride. I'm going to swing you around for a second so you can see one last look of downtown Victoria. Isn't that awesome? There's all elastic bands here, and I'm afraid they're going to fly off, and this whole arrangement is going to go flinging into the ocean. That would suck. Okay, let's not run into the wharf here. Okay. Carry on out here a little bit. I can't see anything because of the glare, because of the way the sun is right now, but I'm also having to be somewhat responsible at driving. I'm just going to scoot around the corner of the Clipper Wharf here, because there are security guards here that are wondering what I'm up to. This is an international wharf after all. I don't think it really applies much right now, but that's America right there. During times of operational customs stuff. You guys probably can't tell, but the motor is just starting to slow down a little. Okay, we're gonna scoot in here, another location I think would be a fabulous little marina. In fact, there's an old brick building at the head of this little bay that would make a fabulous little pub. Isn't that, I don't know if you can see that. Isn't that gorgeous? How about this old Tudor building up in here? Doesn't that make a great pub with a big deck out here? I don't know if you're looking at what I'm looking at, but anyway, pretty cool. Okay, and of course the view is pretty nice. Okay, so I'm going to try not to run into things and answer a few more questions. All along here is a path. The entire harbour of Victoria, right from where my marina is, which is way out on the other side, all the way around Victoria, is a continuous coastal path, which is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, here we go. Let me come back a little bit. Oh, glare. Hello from Australia. Okay, right. We're going to go past Fishing Wharves. Yeah. You have very clean air, says Smitty A. Espen, great guided tour. Thank you. You're hearing the bell, says Nolmans. Boating dive, are you saving the copper tube from the fuel line project? No, I'm not saving it. It'll go straight to the copper bin at the scrapyard. You're doing a great job here, and the boat, keep up the good work, and your channel is much appreciated. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Web Tracker, speaking of classic vessels, I missed the Princess Margaret. What a beautiful ship. Yes, of course it predates my time here, but I have heard some wonderful stories about it. Mr. Flogo, are you living in a boat full buddy? Yes, I am. I'm 5 years now, full-time liveaboard. Love it. The lens is fine, says Craig. Awesome. Wow, says James. Awesome. Mr. Floka, nice and clear, excellent. Not the lens, problem is bandwidth. Yes, no doubt. I'm using a cellular plan. Gosh knows how much of my data I'm using up. Robert, reversed air travel is really improved air quality. Yeah, I've heard some stories that go along with that that are very impressive. Okay, I'm refreshing again, and we're going to scoot around what's called the Narrows. Basically, I don't know if any of you are Google Earthing our little tour here, but of course, if you fire up Google Earth or Google Maps or your favorite mapping application, you can have a look at Victoria Harbour and tell pretty much where we've been on this little tour. What we're doing now, we're leaving the inner harbour and going out through the Narrows. Again, did I mention this is a perfect little harbour with a perfect little Narrows? And then we'll enter the middle harbour, which is where Fisherman's Wharf is. The development you see across the way there were, I think I mentioned earlier, all done rather quickly and not terribly thoughtfully. Yeah. It's interesting, some kind of tour boat. Didn't think there was anything running. Normally this would be absolutely crazy busy, mostly seaplanes. Did I mention I hate seaplanes? There's very strict traffic patterns in this harbour because it is an airport. The whole harbour is an airport. And in fact, I'm not allowed on that side of the harbour because I have motorized craft. Even electric trolling motor counts. And I have to stay within one of the 3 sets of channels. There's a little leniency right now, I would imagine, and you tend to be able to come as far as you want on this side, but there's only a few places you're allowed to cross over, and this is one of them. And there would be a blinking light on top of that marker if I wasn't allowed to cross. In other words, if there was a plane coming. We can still hear a few helicopters, but they're all Coast Guard. Classic stand-up paddleboard. Every harbour in the world must be full of them. Really skipping along nice because we're on the ebb flood, the ebb tide. At the Narrows, it really scoots along. Kayakers never wave, and I know why, because their hands are busy. Okay, getting windy again, but I'll try and keep as close to the shore as possible. We're going to run by a handful of marinas here, and then finally Fisherman's Wharf, which is another of the city marinas. This first one is actually run by a local hotel. It's the Coast Hotel Marina. It's interesting. You have full use of the spa and stuff at the hotel. I've been on the waiting list, but I have a feeling it's not run very regularly. I've never heard anything from them. But we'll just tuck in behind some of the boats there and have another look at the comments. Buddy of mine from the marina. Oh no, this first marina actually isn't. I apologize. The first marina is just one dock that is run by a condo development, actually, a condo here. And they're liveaboards. And there's a phone number at the top of the gate that you can call. I've never bothered with it. They don't get a little spot, actually. Okay, so I'm going to just stop right here and have a look at what we got going on. Okay. Anybody want to see me go live in Toronto, says Mr. Flago. Well, sure, no doubt. Technical fisherman, where are you going? I'm scooting through the harbour back to the outer harbour to my marina. James Ross, who just got here a bit late, unfortunately, but thoroughly enjoying the tour. Glad to hear it. Robert or Bob. I can't read this for some reason. That's the Health and Wellness Building, green windows. Oh, is it? Oh. I don't know much about. This is all going to pieces. Okay, here we go. David asking, have you run your engine yet from Australia? No, I haven't run. Well, I've run it, but it needs so many parts: heat exchanger, exhaust manifold, circulation pump, all kinds of stuff. It's not feasible to pay for all the bits that it would need. So I'm actually replacing it yet again with another complete engine that is very, very promising. But that won't happen for another month or so. What are the upcoming projects on MV Geordie? Well, because we're going cruising for probably 2 months. And in the middle of that, we'll do a haul out for MV Zephyrus. Not much will happen to Geordie in the next, MV Geordie in the next 2 months. But certainly the summer projects are bright work, tons of bright work outside, because I've let it get ahead of me again, and installing the new engine. So those are the main projects, and then in the fall we'll get back into carpentry, indoor work, sawdust, etc. Is that an electric motor on your tender? Yes, it is. It's just a cheap Craigslist Minn Kota something or other. I don't know what it is, but it's awesome. I love it. Hogtown is always. I'm not sure which year that is. Robert Orr, any interest in the Travels with Geordie beer mug? I'm actually working on one. I'm working on a pewter stein, glass bottom pewter stein. That would be a Travels with Geordie beer mug. More on that soon. Anyone has locked Comet, Atlas, or swam or seen anything unusual in the sky? Oh, you're asking if anyone's seen anything unusual in the sky. I haven't. Is that a sail dinghy, or are you going to have to paddle it if you run out of charge? It is a sailing dinghy, however, I didn't bring the sailing rig with me. I will row if I run out of charge, although I think I'm probably going to make it home. But I rowed all the way downtown, so it didn't really bother me much. Boat dive, yeah, Travels with Geordie beer mug. Excellent. So if there's an interest in that, that's something I've definitely been looking at. In fact, I've got it almost all worked out, but just not quite. Geddy Lee says again, when are you doing some boat electronics? Is this why your connection is so bad? Well, I'm nowhere near my boat right now, so it has nothing to do with my boat electronics for sure. I'm just using my phone. My connection is over LTE cellular network. I'm sorry it's bad. It's as good as I can do. I will be completely rewiring my boat this fall, mostly. I was going to do it this spring, but with the pandemic changing some scheduling, I would have been wiring actually right now, because it's sort of a clean project I can do while the boat isn't in shop mode. But because we're trying to put some emphasis on getting MV Zephyrus out to cruise, that's where we've put our energy lately. Craig Russell, pewter. Oh, you don't want pewter. Okay, well, I guess Eric, maybe we will do a non-pewter mug. Good to know. Robert Orr says, awesome, can't wait to lift a pint. Good. Well, maybe we'll do a couple of different things. Craig says, beer mug, yes please. Good. Life after work. I know you're working on your friend's boat now, but when are you getting back to your boat haul out? Again, I'll just summarize the few questions that went around that. I won't be doing much work to my boat for at least 2 months, and then it will be summer when in Victoria it's the dry season. It almost never ever rains, so it's fantastic for doing bright work. So there'll be a lot of sanding and varnishing. If I feel ambitious and I think I can take it on, pretty major work is going to happen to the bridge deck. In other words, the upper deck, the upper windshield, the upper structure around that. And for those of you who've been following on a long time, I'm going to make a modification to the wheelhouse cabin top and cabin sides that I've been waiting to do for quite some time. So lots. Basically starting in July, we'll be back full steam on MV Geordie. And to finish your question, the haul out will be the following spring of 2021. Paris, I had to go. Keep up the good work. Good to see you, Paris, or whatever. Biker Bob, Robert Orr in southern Manitoba, and a small weird sounds, but only when there's overcast. That's part of another conversation that I don't know much about. Francois asked beer mug that lets you pour beer with a little. I need to know what that means. I'm not quite sure what you mean by pour with a little beer with a little collar. Pint size, please. Yes, it'll be a full pint. The mug that we do, they do 2 mugs. The other option was an earthenware. I looked at an earthenware mug, but we'll see. Russell, hi Peter. Is recreational boating allowed during the lockdown? It is. In fact, I went to some trouble to go on the Boating BC and the Coast Guard website. Recreational boating is allowed, perfectly legal, as long as you're following all the regular physical distancing rules and of course I am today, and as well as when we go cruising we will be. However, some communities are very, very reticent to have boats arrive, tie up at a dock, etc. So won't be doing any of that, at least not for a while. BC is very, very fortunate. I don't know if you're following the news. Certainly in Canada, British Columbia is well into flattening the curve. Vancouver Island, we get a case or two a day. We're very, very fortunate. Never really was in full lockdown. Pubs and restaurants and stuff are closed, but most hardware stores, etc., are open. Some of them work a little differently. You call in, you make an order, but on the whole, we're not in lockdown here. If you look around, I'm going to swing around again so you can see over my shoulder to the path, and there's just people walking regularly along the shore here. Some you could say are social distancing. I'm sure when there's groups together, it's because they live together, but sometimes they're not. Okay, what do we got here? Janice showed us from Vegas, looking at a great day on the water with less foam. Yes. Excellent. Okay, well that's it for the comments. I'm going to scoot up past Fisherman's Wharf. Again, I have no idea if this is practical to keep at this, but I'll keep transmitting as long as there's people here. I'm going to turn this a little bit because most of the interesting stuff is now on the other side. I've got to look through my arm now. It's kind of a neat little marina because it's very close to town, but it's not one of the city-run marinas. And then shortly we're out of that and heading over to Fisherman's Wharf, which I would imagine at one point had been all fishermen, but now it's a combination. About a third of it is float homes, which is pretty neat. About a third of it is recreational marina, and about a third of it is still fish boats. Sadly, Victoria is not very welcoming to float homes. There are a number of them here, but there's a moratorium on, in other words, there's no new ones going to be allowed, and certainly no suggestion of any new places where we could have float homes. I would love to see an expansion of the marine community in Victoria, especially up the gorge where we just were, where you could have whole marine villages, hundreds and hundreds of float homes and businesses. This place is neat because several of the float homes have been converted to restaurants, so we'll take you down one of the fairways and see what's going on. Of course, all the restaurants are closed. Of course, this is people's homes, so I'm going to go around too close and broadcast their lives. Tour boats sitting idle, whale watching boats. We're going to run down this fairway, which goes down to the sort of public restaurant-y sort of area of Fisherman's Wharf. One public wharf here, which is kind of fun because if you want to pick someone up to take the boating, just say stand at the end of the wharf. I'll pick you up. You can't stop there, but all taped off with caution tape. Kind of a fun place in summer because it's all restaurants and little eateries and stuff like that. All shut down. can't believe how quiet this is. Normally this is a madhouse of water taxis and tour boats and people. Very strange. Okay, before I actually leave the fairway, I'm going to read a few more comments. Try not to bump into anyone. What do we got here? Last one. Hi, Peter. Will you be doing videos for the 2 months? Yes, every 2 weeks. Every week. We'll still be doing videos, and that's why I got a big data plan on the phone. I'll be able to upload them from wherever we are, and they'll be about cruising mostly. Some projects while underway, but mostly about cruising the Pacific Northwest, which is pretty nice stuff. Is MV Geordie across the harbour from where you are now in West Bay? I think I see it on Google Earth. Yes, that's exactly where it is. Peter, do you follow any other YouTube channels? Well, yes, of course I do. What do I follow? Well, I want to do a shout out for the first wooden boat channel I ever saw, and that's Accidental Sailor Girl. Accidental Sailor Girl. It's a couple. It's mostly run by this young woman and her boyfriend, who have a lovely, lovely wooden boat that they sailed out of Florida for years. And she's been publishing for a long, long time, and they've done some amazing stuff. They now keep the boat in Maine and only spend summers up there, and they spend winters back in Florida. They're actually working on a small fiberglass boat, but I just find them interesting. So that's a shout out, because that's what got me into wooden boat sailing channels, actually. Of course, Tally Ho is fantastic. Leo, fantastic stuff I love watching. Acorn to Arabella, great stuff. Finding Simon is just up the coast here. I consider him a friend. Went to see him. Nice guy. Love what he's doing. It's a little wild and crazy, but talk about perseverance. Salt and Tar. I love the stuff they're doing there. They're, again, just so keen. Fantastic stuff. Sailing Magic Carpet. Young lady is actually from here in British Columbia, and I think Simon put me onto them. I love their channel. Of course, we've all started watching, we all started this watching Sailing La Vagabond, but honestly, by the time they got the catamaran, I really didn't find that interesting anymore. Gotta keep my voice down here, I'm in a community. So what we're passing by now is basically the residential marina section, the recreational marina section of Fisherman's Wharf. Nice spot, really nice spot, and you can stay here year round. So it's kind of appealing. Wow, I don't know if you can see over my shoulder, there's a very large sailboat leaving the harbor. I won't be able to catch up with it, but I missed it coming by. Okay, I'm gonna find a spot to answer the last few bunch of questions, which are probably over by the fuel dock, or at least the fisherman's fishing boat part. I don't really know what's going on with the fishing fleet, whether they're going out regularly. I don't know why I don't know that. So these last few docks are the actual pure fishing docks. There's not many boats here. Wow. I would say that's about half or so of the boats that are normally here, so maybe they're out fishing. Fabulous. Okay, I'm just going to tuck into the lee of the fuel dock there and have a look at a few more comments. If you look, I don't know where the camera's pointing, but if you look over my shoulder there, you can see a little bit of a hubbub back that way. That's my marina across the harbor, so we're almost home. Okay, so let's have a look here. Oh yes, and don't forget Wooden Boat Experience, of course. Fantastic YouTube channel. Sorry, Scott. Yes. Kid videos coming, says Craig. Yes, of course. Thanks for the tour. Excellent. You must be outside Barb's Fish and Chips. Yes, right there somewhere. I've never actually had them. I've missed a lot of stuff here. Great job. Your cam is frozen. Oh dear, no video. Audio's still good, but there's... video's gone, is it? Oh, what does that say? Oh, you know why it's saying that? Hang on a second. There we go, maybe we're back. My phone is complaining that I'm in low power mode. So we probably don't have much more of this to go because I came with a full charge. So I'm gonna answer a few more questions and then we'll see where this is gonna go. Francois, thanks Peter, very much appreciated. Okay, you may disappear at any moment. So I'm going to send us out back across the harbor. I have to pay attention because there's a harbor authority right there. And I'm going to swing you back up this way so you can see where we're actually going. It looks like an escort just happened there. Yeah, I think that was a motorized dinghy on the wrong side of the harbor that I got escorted back by the harbor authority. So you might be able to see up over my shoulder here, if I spin around, there's the air traffic control tower, because of course this is an airport. Pretty soon it's going to be darn windy, and you may not be able to hear me, and I'm going to have to cut across the harbor. I'm only allowed to cross the harbor in one place. It seems a bit ridiculous now with no planes and no ships, but it's the law. And unfortunately it also means that I have to be broadside to the swell that's coming in the mouth of the harbor. So I'll probably get a bit wet. I think it's probably likely that this is as good a point as any to end the stream. I'll just tuck into the lee of this seawall here for a minute and answer any last questions that may be coming up. I know I promised you guys a beer, but I'm not sure the phone is going to last more than another few minutes. I can leave it broadcasting, but we'll see what happens. Let's see what they think of me. Not quite in my favor to get any shelter here. But anyway, let's have a quick look. You're back. I can see you now. You're back. Yes, back. What chart plotting software do you use? I use Navionics. Absolutely love it. One of the best live streams I've ever been on. Oh, that's great. It says web. Didn't call. My screen is frozen. Sorry. Hopefully you'll come back. I'll go short here. Clayton, Peter, glad to see you doing well. Thank you, Clayton. Eric R. Wooden boats. My grandfather had a 30s Coast Guard cutter. They turned into a Viking ship. Awesome. Awesome. Phil Murphy, thanks very much for the videos. They're a big help to me. That's great. Thanks for the time in the water, Peter. Love it. Appreciate that. Bye, mate. See ya. Good day. Great live stream. Great traveling. Love it. Okay, well, I'm going to shoot across the harbor. The phone may die at any moment, but for those who just want to watch, you can see where we're going to go. I'm going to put the iPad down because we're probably going to get some spray here. I'm also going to take my glasses off because they're going to get some spray on them, and because as soon as we get around this end of this seawall, it's going to be a bit choppy. Doesn't look that bad, actually. It's going to be fine. So we're heading over there. You can see, you might be able to just see an RV park sitting out on a end of the breakwater there, and then to the right of it is 3 marinas, of which I'm in one. Not bad at all, actually. Normally I could be protected here by a whole schmack of cruise ships that aren't here. Man, I love this harbor. It's just the perfect harbor. For those of you who are still there and can still hear me, right in that little bay is Lime Bay. That's Spinnaker's Pub, my local. Turning broadside of the waves wasn't a really good idea, but I just wanted to show you. Forbidden in Victoria Harbour, largely because it's an airport. It's the kind of thing that I almost feel like challenging these days because there are no planes and there are no ships. That might not be wise.
no idea if this is still recording. I still see red live in the corner, so I guess you're there. When I first came to Victoria 5 years ago, had been traveling around North America towing an Airstream with my Land Rover. For those of you who've been following way back, the early episodes document that. And the first place I stayed in Victoria was at this RV park, which sticks out into the bay. It's kind of neat. And it's quite a privileged place to stay for a while. Of course, walking through town, I noticed a beautiful little wooden boat tied up next to the path. That was that. For those of you who have fired up Google Maps and checked this place out, this is considered West Bay Marina. There's really three marinas here. West Bay Marina is the big one, which we're about to pass, which includes a number of very, very large float homes. And then there's a smaller marina called Hidden Harbour. And then there's the last little marina, which is only 2 docks, which is called Sailor's Cove Marina, which is where I am. And it's actually owned by the same organization that owns West Bay Marina. And perhaps I'll turn the camera again a bit so you can see what we pass on the way in here. And we appear to be still streaming. Battery has got to be just about had it. Pretty privileged life to be able to live on a boat this close to downtown. Low battery. I have a feeling you lost the video there for a bit because it complained about more low battery. Anyway, we're just about done here. Good thing it's a reasonably high tide because where I am right now, it's a mud flat.
You're still broadcasting.
I'm still broadcasting. Hi, Kim.
Whoa, Welcome home. Well done.
My good neighbor, and here's MV Geordie. All right, we'll swing around and tie up. Actually, I got to tie up on the other side. And right there you will see MV Zephyrus as well. Okay, I'm gonna have a quick look at the iPad to see if there's any last comments before I shut this down. I think this has been a heck of a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see now, why not run into something here and drop stuff in the water? Hello there, Kim, how are you? Okay, what do we got here? La. Thanks for the tour. Gonna need a bigger engine battery for that tender. Actually, I think it worked pretty well. You gonna run your phone down to the last drop? Yeah, I certainly am. Thank you for the tour, very good. Thanks for the tour. Great, that's all she wrote. Neighbor is stream snipping. I love it, yeah. I'm gonna sleep well now. Good, very good. Okay, well, I'm gonna say goodbye and go have a beer. So I won't bring you for that because I'm sure the phone is about to die. What's that?
Thank you again for your tip yesterday.
Excellent, I'll let you go. We're in the marina. Cheers, so good to have you guys aboard. Bye.
I owe you something. What kind of wine do you drink? Are you a Scotch guy? You seriously, like, you know, sometimes people just give you the right